Hey yo, you guys, what's up? It's your Vibe and Potato of a host. It's Gia. Yes, I'm back again this week. You guys know I gotta pull through for you guys each and every week. This week we have a special man coming on. Y'all know him, y'all love him. Everyone loves him. He's pretty good at what he does. So finish setting up the Discord server, finish setting up our TikTok. So that's up and running. What else? That's all that's been going on. I have some news about a trip I'm taking, so that'll be fun. I'm taking everything with me. I'm taking the podcast with me, so be on the lookout for that. Yeah. So let's get into it. So today on the show this week we have Super Proxy ASMR, in case you guys couldn't tell by my Twitter hints. And just in case you guys don't know, I drop hints all week about who's going to be on the show. So you guys can try to figure it out and whatnot. So yeah, let's get on with it.
Yes, it's working. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Sorry. I was struggling there for a minute. I didn't know how the app works, so I needed to learn it real quick.
You're good. So this is Woman in Red. This is my little podcast. Hide out in the corner in our room.
It's fine. I'm in the corner of my room too. We're all good.
Yeah, we are all good. So, as you know, I started the show out with an icebreaker. We ended off with advice from the viewers, and we've got our main portions and segments of the shows, and pretty much that's all it is.
Yeah. Also, I wasn't able to change my name. I wasn't sure how to do that. So.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah. For anybody to know, I'm Proxy. Obviously, I just couldn't change my name because I didn't know how.
Right. So starting with the show and our icebreaker, nicknames are common in a lot of places. What is your favorite nickname?
Oh, I have a few. It's hard to pick, but I think my favorite one that people have picked out for me is Gaston. I don't know why. It just makes me laugh every time I hear it. If you want to know the significance behind the nickname, a lot of people in my personal life call me it because I tend to talk a lot. So they just nicknamed me Gaston, and then a lot of the times my ringtones for them are Gaston. So like when I call them, it'll play the Gaston theme.
Right. Yeah. A nickname everyone calls me by is Gia or Gigi. Gia is just like kind of like the initials, pretty much, and Gigi is what my little sister used to call me when I was younger.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and there is actually a kind of a story behind it. Do you know the movie Kiki's Delivery Service?
I've seen trailers for it, but I never watched it.
The black cat that's on there, the cat's name is Gigi.
Oh, okay.
So that's where it comes from. That's why she started calling me that.
Well, that's funny and cool. I like that. It's really sweet.
So going into our main questions, inspiration is everywhere. Where did the inspiration for the channel name come from?
Oh, the channel name. Well, that's actually pretty interesting. So around the time I made my channel, there was this person called Fake ASMR. They still make videos to this day. But around that time, I was watching a lot of their content, and I was wanting to change my channel name from Husky to Proxy, and name it Super Proxy ASMR because originally the channel was my second channel, and I was just using it to back up a lot of my content. And eventually the name ended up sticking, and I never changed it because I loved it so much. To be honest though, I still think about changing the name to Super Proxy Audios, but we'll see if I actually do that or not. Just something I'm thinking about.
Right. Yeah, I will never change the podcast name. Woman in Red is always, it's gonna stick. It'll stay. it's me. That's what it is. It's me. It screams me. Um, so, talking about the ASMR and stuff, improv is just as strong as scripts. What do you do more, improv or scripts?
That's a very interesting question. 90% of the time it's improv, but not in the way that simple improv is. 90% of the time I write an overview of the story. Like I'll write a where, a when, this is how everything's going to happen. But I leave the dialogue empty. And 90% of the time, unless it's a commission, in which case I write the dialogue myself for the commission because they're paying for it, right?
Right.
But 90% of the time, the dialogue itself is improvised, but the story is written in advance.
Right. Yeah, no, just like these questions, I prefer to script out the questions so that way people know what to expect and they're not surprised if I go like off track or so. Like if I go off track, then yes, that's fine because it's probably like, oh, it's a follow-up question, fourth question, or something like that.
Right. Sometimes it's like that. I haven't done a podcast in a while, so this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. I love doing my podcast. So motivation is an important tool in today's society. What are a couple things that motivate you?
There's a lot of things that motivate me, honestly, but I think there's a very definite couple I can talk about right now off the top of my head. One source that motivates me a lot, obviously, is my girlfriend. She obviously, pushes me a lot to be better and stronger, and she definitely makes me feel strong enough to keep going and working on the channel.
Right.
Another source I get a lot of motivation from is definitely like working on I'm trying to explain it. It's definitely like the creative process, you know what I mean? Like when you're creating stuff and the drive you get from that, like just the adrenaline you get when you're working on stuff. Or not adrenaline, what's the word? Serotonin.
Right.
But most importantly, the final and third thing that motivates me is definitely the fans. I would not be able to make as many videos as I do and as fast as I do them if it wasn't for the fans.
Right.
Seeing their comments on every video or seeing them like it or even just watch the video itself makes me insanely happy. And just knowing that there's people that enjoy my content is like a wild thought to me. And I know it's crazy because I'm bordering on 13,000, right? I'm getting close to that in terms of subscribers. But even now, it seems crazy that people enjoy my content and actually want to watch what I put out into the world. And, that's really what motivates me is the people that watch my content and the people that make a comment on every video. And there's this one commenter called Geico. I would never respond to them. I don't think I used to respond to them, but I haven't responded to them in months. But they're still leaving comments. People like that legit make me happy because they're just enjoying the videos and then leaving fun comments for me to read. And I think that's really wholesome. And that's what motivates me.
Right. Yeah, no, that's totally understandable. I know my viewers are what drives me, and then of course having you guys come on the show obviously keeps it going, and it just pushes me. Like I was working on a couple of the socials today and getting those pushed out.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a few socials, mostly Twitter, Discord, and YouTube are my main three.
Right.
I have Facebook, but I don't think anyone would care about that. All I do is post like dog pictures.
I post memes on my Facebook, and you guys aren't getting it. I mean, my main socials are obviously Discord and Twitter, and I've got Instagram as well. So,
which is cool. But yeah, in terms of socials, YouTube, Discord, Twitter, feel free to follow or whatever on any of them. And if you want to shoot me a DM for commissions, always open.
yes. So not knowing things and learning from your experience is always good. What are two to three things that you have learned from this?
Oh, normally I'm a very positive guy, but this one might sound kind of pessimistic. I don't mean it to sound this way though, but don't always meet your idols. That's something I learned very fast. There's a lot of people I met that I idolized that were not of human, just human decency was not there. And that's something I definitely learned. But also to just be safe on the internet. You know what I mean? Example, I may seem like a really nice guy and stuff like that, but you don't know my personal life, right? And you don't know what I'm like behind the curtains. Stuff like that you need to think about. And that's true with any creator that I learned. Yeah, I learned that the hard way, and I really wish I would have listened to my peers when it came to that kind of stuff. But I did learn, and that's something I definitely want to say on the podcast for any fans listening or any other creators. Just keep this in mind. Everyone, their YouTube persona and the real person behind the screen are two different people almost double the time, right? Very rarely is it the same person. And so I just want to say this, just for safety's sake, and that's something I definitely learned within my first year, through multiple people, which I'm not going to get into right now because this is very old and dead drama. But I just want to say this, and so everyone knows that, hey, don't always, think that. And I mean, it's good to like a creator and whatever, but like, don't idolize them in a way that's like, oh my gosh, they're the best human ever, when in reality, behind the curtains, they're struggling just as hard as any other random person, and they're probably dealing with their own problems, right? I
Yeah.
don't know, and I don't mean it to sound pessimistic or whatever. I like to be positive generally, but that is something I definitely learned and want to put out into the world is, you know the creators are their own people, and you shouldn't 100% idolize them all the time.
Right. Yeah,
uh,
that's totally. It is a true lesson to learn. I had to learn it the hard way.
I just wanted to say this because, and yeah, Gene, it just, it's one of those things where I definitely need to say this out into the world, because I've made that mistake and I've seen several others make that mistake, and if I can help people not make that mistake, then I'm gonna try.
Yeah, totally. Go for it. Um, like I know one thing I definitely have learned from like doing the podcast in general was like not only like how to monetize the podcast, but that it is going to be hard talking to people, and like it's not really it doesn't really help with social anxiety, but it's good to like start warming up to people and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's well, don't get me wrong, it's good to have friends and it's good to have that kind of stuff. I'm not saying don't make friends on the internet. It's fine to be friends. I'm just saying don't see like creators as like these people that are infallible or can't do no wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because everyone makes mistakes.
And you have a lot of those fans that are like, he's perfect or she's the best, and you just got to look at that. You got to look at a creator and go, they're human too. Sure, they make good content, and it's really good and fun to enjoy and listen to and watch, but you have to remember, behind the curtains, they're probably a different person than what you're seeing. you
Exactly.
know
Yeah, totally. Going on with this, support is everywhere. Who or what are they? What are the things that support you, or who supports you?
that's an interesting question. Yeah. In terms of support, I think there's a couple obvious answers you're probably going to be expecting here, and sorry, I'm going to be a little bit cliche, but my girlfriend definitely is someone who highly supports me, and I'm always grateful for it. And, getting those morning texts about "I love you" and stuff like that, right? That's
Uh-huh.
going to be one huge source. Another person I want to shout out here in this podcast is Bittersweet Fangs. They have made wonderful art for sorry, they've made wonderful art for my channel and have been a huge source of support. I honestly, I don't know if I would have kept making ASMR if it wasn't for them, or my channel would have boomed in the sense that it did without their
Right.
help. That's a huge source of support, like a huge pillar of my channel. Um, and lastly, my fans, a huge source of support comes from them. Like I said earlier, all the nice comments they leave, all the likes, or just on Twitter, just seeing my mutuals or other people who do the same thing as me, give me support or say you did a good job on this video. Every time I get that, it really, it drives me, and just the support is really heartwarming, and it really does make me happy to see it. And I wouldn't be able to do what I do without all that support. It definitely holds me up.
Right. Yeah. No, my sister supports this podcast. Of course, the fans, people who listen to it. There's a lot of people that support this podcast, and I came up with this idea while laying in bed one night. I was like, wouldn't it be cool to get to know like the voice actors behind these audios? Like, that's kind of what started this podcast, was that idea. And I was like, okay, cool. And like, I was talking to my sister about it, and she's like, yeah, go for it, whatever, I don't care. And so I did it, and now like all of a sudden this is what it's becoming. It's becoming something good.
Right, and that's always a nice thing. Like I started my original channel as a just a backup channel. So when things transform the way they do, like this channel became my main channel, obviously, because I uploaded.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Uh,
yeah. Oh totally.
but it's crazy to think that about that kind of stuff, where it's like you initially do something and it's not meant to be that way, but slowly it transforms into something else entirely, and it takes on a different form and meaning. um I definitely get that.
Right, yeah. um it's been crazy. Like, it's been a month since this podcast started, and it's wild. People and people listening to the podcast, and I'm like, oh cool, like I didn't know you like actually fully listen to it. And so it just like baffles my mind and whatnot.
Well, I mean, it's always good to have and go on podcasts, and I like to share out in the world. I don't like to make a whole ton of videos about myself because then it seems egotistical, and I really don't want to come off that way. um I'll join a podcast if people want to talk about stuff, because they could ask some interesting questions like you have today, right? Where I really do want to answer them, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. um so I think the matter is just that it's good sometimes just to pop up in other places and just talk and hang out, like on this podcast, like what we're doing.
Totally. um you know Speaking of which, that stuff eventually becomes a part of you, like your videos do. What is the story behind your first video?
So, fun fact for this ASMR channel, technically my first video on this channel, it will show this space one. It'll show the Yandere one, the Yandere best friend.
Uh-huh.
But technically the very first video is that space video, which it'll say remix or updated, which means because my original one I used sounds from Mass Effect, if you've ever played any of those games, and the video got copyright struck down. So I ended up having to take the video off, or the video already got taken off, but I took the video, took out the sound effects, added different sound effects. And by the way, I was recording on a PlayStation camera at the time. So yeah, it wasn't the best quality, and they're only like a minute or 2 minutes long. But I re-uploaded them, and I did that with a lot of my videos because they kept getting copyright claimed or strike because they use sound effects from video games that I like to play.
Right.
But yeah, now, that's the story behind that one. I mean, and the very first one, like the backstory of why I started making ASMR videos in the first place. I don't know. Wait, is that a question later on, or can I just answer this now?
You can go ahead and answer that now.
All right. So the reason why I started making ASMR videos, at the time I was working at McDonald's, and I was just, there's no better way to put this. I was miserable and just absolutely like unhappy with my life. At that point in time, I had taken a break from YouTube for like 3 months, and I was just miserable. I didn't have any drives to do anything. I kind of lost motivation to do most things. Even just taking basic care of myself was starting to fall off. I didn't really care about anything anymore or want to do anything. I just kind of I stopped talking to my friends. I stopped communicating with my family. I lost all creative interest and spark. I was at a very low point in my life at that time. And then, I discovered ASMR because I'd heard about it before through YouTube Rewind when they mentioned it on like one of them. But then I ended up discovering people like Angel Core or Kai Says Things. Also discovering people like Dark and Twisted or Molten Magma. At the time he was a lot bigger before he had to restart. Or what was his name? I'm trying to remember. I don't think he has a YouTube channel anymore. I think he deleted it, but I can't remember. But people like that inspired me, and I kind of sat there and went, I could probably do that. So I sat in front of my PlayStation and recorded on my PlayStation camera, and I uploaded the video, and the video ended up getting like 100 views within the first hour. Sitting there like, whoa, and I'm like, this is something I could do. This is something, and I had fun making it, so I was like, I'll do another. And then I did another, and then I did another, and I was recording like 10 videos a day. It was insane. But I was having so much fun, and it wasn't a big deal back then because they're only like 1 or 2 minute videos, right? So 10 videos a day didn't really add up to much. Nowadays I do like 10 to 20 minute videos, so that's not very practical. But back then, it was a ton of fun, and it still is now. It just takes on a different form now. But yeah, that's why I started making ASMR videos. It made me happy. It sparked creative joy. It made me feel complete, like I'd been missing something. And I've always been a creative person. I just never had an outlet, and ASMR gives me that outlet I need. And that's kind of the backstory behind it is, I got an outlet to make me happy.
Right. Yeah, definitely thinking about that. That's something to really think about. And, you know, I had been listening to ASMR for like a couple of years, and I'm like, okay, joined a few servers, and really joined a few Discord servers. Like, I'm like, okay, cool, chatting with people, and I was like, yeah, no, not for me. And it took me a while to get a grasp on what I liked and stuff, but I eventually got a grasp on what I like, and it just one thing turned into another, and this is what it becomes.
Right, like you originally started off with different intentions and it turns into something else. Because
Mm.
ASMR, when I first started off, was pretty much a hobby, right? It wasn't anything crazy. It was just me doing random videos for fun. I didn't have goals of views or any goals of videos doing good. I just was doing it for creative fun. I wasn't looking at comments. I didn't even respond to comments until I was like 4 months in, and I had like hundreds to respond to. Because I wasn't paying attention, because I didn't think anyone would actually leave a comment. I would say my channel like exploded when I made the Yandere print series. I think that's when my channel first like blew off the rails.
Right.
Are like around 100, like 200 subscribers, so around like 800 or 900, and I just kept growing and growing, and I'm like, whoa, And I've met a lot of people along the journey. One of the people I met was named Indie Kiddo 44. I'm not sure if he goes by that name anymore, but he was one of the first artists for the channel, and
Mhm.
I'll never forget him, and what he did for me and the channel. And how awesome he was and how willing he was just to drop everything and make random art for me, right?
Right.
Nowadays, he doesn't really make art for me anymore. He's focusing on his own stuff. And I do wish him the best on that. But I will never forget his contributions to the channel. Because if you watch any of my like earlier videos, you'll see his art on the thumbnail. Now,
Right.
you'll see Bittersweet Fangs or Oceanic Land or, people like that. But back then, it was all Indie Kiddo. That he was the main artist for the
Right.
channel for a long time.
Oh yeah, totally. You know, yeah, definitely. And I mean, a lot of the stuff that is posted on my Instagram or like, even the podcast cover, I make those photos are mine, and I make and I come up with the ideas. Like the woman in red is all my idea. It's my little space, and I've put sprinkles on it, and it just becomes what it becomes.
Right. Example, like a good example of my channel is how my art changes all the time. My main profile picture art, I'm
Uh,
always changing it. I think that should be a meme at this point. I'm surprised no one's made a meme to the fact that I change my profile art every 2 to 3 months. I'm surprised no one's ever made a meme about that. Because originally it was like a wolf kind of thing, but everyone kept thinking I was a furry. Not that there's anything wrong with furries, I'm just not. So I ended up having the art changed to more of a humanoid. And different artists have had their own takes on it, and I've changed the art depending on what I'm aiming for.
mhm.
Now it's going for more of a simple style, so a lot of my videos are a bit more simpler than they used to be because I like to do like huge narrative arcs, but I kind of slowed that down for a
Right,
bit.
right, yeah. I think that's gonna be it for our main questions. Now, a couple of other questions I have. What is your favorite snack?
Oh, easy Pringles, 100%. I will devour every Pringle on this planet. No Pringles will be safe. I will break down your door and grab your Pringles. No one can stop me. Not even the legendary Siren Son himself could stop me from breaking into people's houses and just stealing all of the Pringles. I will own the Pringle supply. Own my own Pringle kingdom, and nobody can stop me. It will be ultimate Pringledom.
I mean, I'm surprised you haven't even changed the Discord name to Proxy's Pringle Kingdom.
I would, but the Gaia, it's all themed around Gaia because that's the main universe of my ASMR.
Right, right. What is the story behind your Discord server?
Oh, that's easy. When I first made a Discord server, I didn't think anyone would actually join. I just kind of made it because a lot of other creators were, and I'm like, this could be fun. I'll make one, and then skip a couple months late. Skip like a year and a half later, and I almost have 200 people in it, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, I've got my Discord server set up somewhat.
Yeah, I join a lot of random Discord servers though. Like I join a lot. Even if I don't comment at them, I'm in them. I'm like, I'm here. Even if I don't say anything. Uh,
Right.
Also, the another story behind my Discord server is originally I had them themed around different characters that I was making when I only had like 7 or 8 characters I was doing.
Uh-huh.
But eventually, I ended up having to change that because of so many characters. So I ended up getting Sin Audios, and he came in and he was able to kind of like revamp my server in a big way. Honestly, I might get another person to revamp it again because it's getting a little out of date. So I might have someone do it again and like get new bots and stuff for it. But
Yeah.
for now it works. I might have to revamp it again because yeah, I haven't had it revamped in a couple of years, so I should probably do that.
Right.
Um, but I'm just not sure who to do it with yet because it has to be someone I trust and then someone who knows what they're doing, and you have to find a good combo of that. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's kind of the story behind the Discord server. Sorry, I went on a wild tangent. I got
Oh
excited.
no, you're fine. You're fine. This next question is going to be our final question, but tell us something that is funny to you.
I I think it's funny when people make Pringle memes. I'm sorry, I know I'm basic, but when people make memes about me, they genuinely make me laugh. It's the best. I love it. I love it so much when people make memes of me. Is it narcissistic? I don't know, but like I just love it. It makes me laugh so hard. Like I'm sorry. I know it may seem narcissistic, but like it makes me so happy to see people make memes of me, and I'll genuinely laugh. Like there was this one I saw about with Pringles, but it's basically me. Like you know the "Why are you running" meme.
Yeah.
Someone photoshopped my head over like, and then the guy was like, "Why are you running?" And then like the person running away is a uh, canister of Pringles, and I'm walking towards them. I'm like, "Why are you running?" And the Pringles going, "Ah, ah!" And I was laughing so hard. I was crying like of how funny that was. It was, oh my god, like you don't understand just how funny like people can be with. Or like there was another one by I think Kokochi, I think is how you say their name, where it's like, "What's Proxy thinking about?" And then like it showed Pringles, but it plays the da 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 da. You know that song? Where
Mm-hmm.
it's, na 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 da 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 da. You know,
Yeah.
like the song. Like, oh god, sorry, I went on a tangent there, but
You're good.
just people make memes about me is what makes me laugh.
Yeah, no, definitely. I know, like, in your Discord server, someone put you on a can of Pringles.
Yeah, I was laughing so hard. I saw that and I saved that to my phone. I have been laughing for like the last 10 minutes at that, or not the last 10 minutes, but I laughed for a good 10 minutes at that, where it's like I was just dying.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So, sadly, I do have to end this show here.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun to be on the podcast today.
Yeah, no problem. So, before we go, do you have any piece of advice you want to give to the viewers?
Oh yeah, gladly. So this is for anyone who wants to start their own ASMR channel, because I get this question a lot. So I just figured I'd answer it here, right? Um, so for here's a few little tips. One, if you're going to use an editor, I have two editors I recommend. If you're doing this on mobile, here's what I recommend: either use KindMaster or use Villo. They're both really good editors, and you don't have to pay any money for them. KindMaster's good for effects. Villo's good for music. In terms of which one you prefer, right? And in terms of making thumbnails, use Canva. Really good thumbnail maker. A lot of features. Don't gotta pay any money. Again, free. Um, yeah, those are the top two things I'd recommend for that. And if you're on PC, like if you're using a PC, I'm not sure about if this is on Mac, but if you're on a PC, like with Windows and stuff, what I recommend is using Davinci Resolve. That's what I use on PC. And you get the free version, obviously, right? I mean, you could pay for it, but I recommend just getting the free version because you don't get a whole lot more with the paid version. But yeah, get the free version of Davinci Resolve, and then as for like a thumbnail editor, get Canva again because it's on computers as well. It's amazing, just as amazing on computers as it is on mobile. So get that on there, and you're set basically. Oh, and Audacity, very important. Get Audacity for sound editing for computers. On mobile phones, you can just use your camera and then import that into Villa or KindMaster and just put a thumbnail over it. It's fine. Anyway, that's my advice.
Right. Alrighty. Thank you.
No problem. Have a nice day.
You too.
From their mics to your ears, this is Woman in Red. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode because I was like super nervous talking to Proxy, but Proxy is a very cool man, and I think you guys would really enjoy his audios and his YouTube channel. Definitely, I highly encourage you to go join the Discord, his Discord server, and my Discord server. Join, follow him on any socials you have. Follow me on any socials I have.
Definitely. Please do. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. It's going to be really good.